Attention, you are being drilled, soldier. Eyes open, line up for the crash course, the training video for your upcoming missions. Commandos 2 calls you to arms as an high-definition remaster version with an expanded in-game tutorial, a more user-friendly interface, and easier controls. But that's no reason to go soft. Your missions will challenge you. Your courage, your bravery, and above all, your cunning and cleverness are what will help decide the outcome of World War II. You are to strike at the enemy, at the German Reich and its Japanese allies, where it hurts the most. Behind enemy lines, for example, during daring and cleverly planned commando operations carried out by a small group of elite fighters. With Commandos, the Spanish Pyro Studios created a classic real-time tactics game in 1998, and with Commandos 2, they topped that again in 2003. Even today, 17 years later, players still rave about the adventures they experienced back then. But what do they look like today, on the big screens? You don't have to put up with Minecraft-like characters in uniforms anymore, at least not after January 24, 2020. That's when Commandos 2 High Definition Remaster will be released with completely overhauled graphics. And not just for Windows PC, but also later in the spring for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Mac, and Linux. In war, you need every ally you can get. The English development studio is called Yippee Entertainment, and with the blessing of the original developers, they've polished their work to a high shine once again. The German publisher Calypso Media is funding this and releasing the game, and by the way, they're already working on a new Commandos as well. The series is set to continue. But first, here's this crash course on the high-definition remaster version of Commandos. Recently, I already released a similar crash course on Praetorian's high-definition remaster. Both Calypso titles are being released at the same time. Thanks to Calypso for financially supporting me with both videos. That's why the word advertisement has to appear in the corner. Writing Bull, and I specialize in current city building and strategy games. If you want to get one of these Calypso titles, I got a discount code from the publisher for you. That gives you a hefty 20% discount on all games you add to your cart in the Calypso shop until the end of April 2020. You'll find the code and the corresponding link in the text description of this video. Alright, now pay attention everyone, crash course. Commandos 2 doesn't have a multiplayer mode. The game is optimized and designed for the single-player experience. There's a long campaign consisting of 10 missions, and some of them are really tough. Some of these are really large maps, and above all, there are always new objectives popping up during the missions, which encourage you to, for example, complete secondary objectives. Unlock bonus missions, which are a bit shorter. There are also 10 of those. In the game as a whole, there are also 2 tutorial missions at the beginning. Once you've completed a mission, you can replay it a second time, a third time, or as many times as you want. And you'll find them listed here under this mission entry. To replay, just start a new game. That will begin with the tutorial missions.
We need to take out this border post so our guys can get through.
If we eliminate the commanding officer, the others won't resist.
First, we need to quietly take out those 2.
I can climb the cables and swing to the other side. That crate should have something interesting.
Once you get the pliers, bring them here. I'll cut the fence and disable the mines.
And here we are, in the first mission and at your very first assignment. If you didn't catch everything just now when they rattled off what you have to do here and when, there's no need to worry. Just click on the notebook icon at the top right. We're in World War II, and people didn't carry tablets or smartphones back then, but pocket notebooks. Here's one of those. Down here in this entry, you'll find the mission objectives, and above that, there's a list of individual chapters. There you can take a close look at everything and have it explained to you, what you might encounter in the game, for example, what types of weapons, what equipment, and so on. But first, let's take a look at the mission objectives here. They're still listed in order. Once you click on it, you'll get a more detailed display and even graphical hints. These are excerpts that show you where you have something to do. Those are good tips. Still, tinkering around a bit never hurts, and there are often several ways that can lead to your goal. Right-click and another level up, one level up to the content again and to the different entries. If you go to the weapons, pistol, tank, fist, bomb, knife, grenade, you'll see a huge selection of things you can use. Left-clicking on it shows you advice that the developers give you in which tactical situations you should use which weapons and what you need to consider. And you'll also find the corresponding keyboard and mouse commands you need for that. Right-click takes you up one level and another level up again. Equipment works the same way, whether it's binoculars, lockpicks, rope ladders, mine sensors, crates, or whatever. You can even use drugs, cigarettes, and lipstick. Left-clicking on it will show you how to do it. Try seducing your opponent. However, not everyone can do that here. Each of your heroes has special abilities. However, there are also actions that every hero can perform. You can try them out one by one and get to know them. Different heroes are involved in each mission. You can display them in the top left corner. By clicking on these portraits, you activate the hero associated with that portrait. Okay, that's also the man on the left with the metal cap over his mustached head. That's the pioneer in the game. There are 9 of these heroes or commandos in the game. To the right of him is the thief, which you can see at the bottom right. Then again, when you click on one of them. These are all the entries for the commands, for the actions you can perform with him. There are 2 bars you need to pay attention to. One is the health bar, which is this curve down here on the right, or rather this line at the top left. Then there's also a stamina bar, which is this one here. It's grey at the moment, but there's no need to worry. When you perform an action that requires stamina, it will flash, and then the stamina indicator will change. We'll take a closer look at that in a moment. There are a few general things, for example here, by pressing the space bar or by clicking here on the bottom left, you can do it as well. You can make people stand up and lie down again using the space bar up and down. You can also let people train a bit. You can also hold down the right mouse button to zoom in, select multiple people, and then generally move them back and forth. But be careful, the enemy shouldn't catch you there. We want to avoid getting caught. That's why we click on this field of view icon at the top right, left click on one of the units, for example on one of the officers up here, and you can see these are the least dangerous of all possible enemies. They always stand still, don't move, and always look in the same direction. Then there are gentlemen like this one here, the sentry at the bottom left. He's a bit more critical, he doesn't move either, but he lets his gaze move and wander, and those are the most dangerous for us. Those are the ones who run around and then look in one direction, then in the other. However, this comrade always moves along the same paths, so we can try to avoid him. The inner and outer areas of the field of vision are also important, especially the inner area, which is the darker, richer green. We will definitely be seen there, unless we are behind hedges or walls like these, for example. That's the perfect privacy screen. In the outer area, the semi-transparent one, we won't be seen. As long as we're lying down, we can't be caught, but if we stand up, then we can. We grab one of our people, for example our thief here, and run with him or crawl with him a little further down. And when you move towards these metal symbols, you get info windows displayed. These can be tutorial hints like here, or additional information. We move a bit further over here and soon the next location will be clicked on and revealed. That's this one here, and here it's explained to us how we can stun enemies. Any of our units can perform a stun. So this is a command for an action that everyone can perform, but the following things can't always be done by everyone. Tying up and gagging is a special ability of our engineer. You can arrange the tightest knots and the most secure gags. And also collecting and carrying away corpses, only he can do that, because he's the strongest of them all. Searching enemies, rummaging through their inventory and then robbing them, that's something everyone can do. We press the Q key, left click here and knock him down. However, he can't be gagged by him. The pioneer behind moves towards him, now does this action with a left click and holding the shift key. Here, picks him up. And ties him up again, shift key again, and then he picks him up, left click on the left side, quickly get the other one, move, go, go, go. Hopefully this works in time. The soldier will come over from the right soon. We grab our pioneer again, right click and the goods are unloaded, spacebar, and he lies down again. And we actually did it. Now, of course, we want to take out the other one as well. We grab one of our units, for example, the Deeper, and with W and left click, we click on the one lying right next to us, the tied up one, and open the inventory window. That's how it works with W. And going into the goods and exchanging them also works by clicking at the bottom right. Most of the buttons that are here on the right side, and the corresponding keyboard commands, can be seen in combination on the right. Sometimes for the actions that are possible here on the right side, there are also arrows. If you click on them, you'll be shown other commands from this category. There can be many stored there depending on how many items and abilities you have, then you just pick the right one. Another click on the triangle symbol closes it again. That was the magnifying glass symbol. With the magnifying glass and the W key, we can click on enemies after we've stunned and tied them up. Before that, it doesn't work unless we're acting as a pickpocket, but normally we have to take out the enemy first, and now we can rob him. You can't rob your own comrades either, that would be really, really mean. You can only trade items with them. Click on one of our characters, then left click and press the W key on one of the comrades, but they have to be standing nearby. And then we can just trade goods back and forth. Later in the game, there's also a little dog named Whiskey, who drinks the stuff that soldiers like to drink. And with him, you can even exchange items over distances. But not in this phase of the game yet. By holding down the left mouse button, you grab the items and drag them over. You see, there are squares on the left and right. That means the bigger and heavier an item is, the more of these slots it takes up in your inventory, and the total inventory space is limited. That's why you might sometimes leave things behind even though you could actually use them. Some items can also be stacked. For example, we'll take the cigarettes with us here, and we'll also take the rifle and the ammunition. When people bring their own weapons, their own allies, rifles or pistols, then they have unlimited ammunition. On the other hand, if we take weapons from the enemies, then the ammunition is limited. Then we only have as much as we actually take from them. So, now let's get out of here again. Just click on the symbol up here on the left, and now use the cigarettes and throw them back there. He can do that lying down or standing up, and the next time the enemy comes down here, he'll spot the cigarettes. He'll run over and be distracted. With the other one, we'll go over to the other side here because I'd like to show you something. Now he's spotted, now we'll go back again. And if we do it quickly enough, then we won't get caught, and everything is fine. If we had stayed here too long, he would have caught us. Now he's caught him, so we're moving. Now we hold down the Q key, left click, and we can attack and take out the enemy. Bam, we've got him. If we hadn't moved quickly out of the green cone, we would have been caught and fired on. Everyone would have come running. So now quickly gag him, left click and hold down the shift key. He's well wrapped up, and now we can pick him up, carry him away, and also take whatever we want from his pockets. There. That was really, really close. And now comes the most important tip of all for the crash course video. Actually, what am I saying, for the whole game? If you had any kind of success, immediately press the quick save button. Ctrl+S is the command. Later in the game, you can use Ctrl+L to load that quick save again, and you can save yourself if you messed up any situation. You can only create one quick save at a time, and if you use the command again, it will be overwritten. However, you can also create individual save files manually. From different game situations, like many other games use, it's useful here to check the settings through the pause menu, which you can access with the escape key to see how things look and work. Audio, graphics, gameplay, you know these as options from other games. Making things louder or quieter, changing graphic settings, that's all completely normal. Under controls, you'll find a good overview of the most important shortcuts in the game. These are the top 3 things I would really recommend to you. Number 1, right mouse button. In most situations, clicking the right mouse button in the game or on the window takes you back 1 level. Alternatively, often the escape key. Tip number 2, this is the shift key. Hold shift and then left click on an enemy. It shows you actions that you can usually only perform with this character and with no one else. And then the third tip, that's the W key. Press W and left click. Click on anything that exists in the game and you'll get information about it. That could be a character, an object, or anything in the scenery. So that's the magnifying glass you can use to get information. Then there's also the option here for you to quickly switch between different characters using numbers. In this game, for example, there's the Pioneer and the Thief. If you click on 4, the Pioneer is selected, and with 8, the Thief is selected. And then there's also the option to see for each individual character which letter commands are linked to which actions. That's a bit confusing for beginners because the layout changes from one to another. My tip would be to press escape a few times, then we're back in the game, more to the right here. Orient yourselves using these graphic symbols, and then see which letter is next to them, or simply click on this little picture here. Next, our two fighters first take out the soldier who is repairing the roadblock in the middle. And after that, his not-so-diligent comrade, who has retreated to the bushes on the right to take a very long cigarette break. Both of these shouldn't be too difficult. In later missions, however, it will often get very tricky. And then we're really glad that our new Commando fighters have such different special abilities, because their teamwork is often the key to success. Our Pioneer, whom you've already met, can handle dynamite and knows how to fire a tank. Our Priest, on the other hand, is the only one who can drive tanks and also knows how to use Molotov cocktails and smoke grenades. Our Greenberry is incredibly strong and can also bury himself in soft soil to hide from the eyes of our enemies. He also keeps more distance from the enemy compared to our Sniper, but be careful, every shot makes noise and can attract enemies. So the best attack is always a silent one. Our French master spy can disguise himself as an officer and simply send German soldiers away, at least for a short time. And our Soviet agent can also distract enemies when she touches up her pout with her lipstick. One of our specialists comes from distant Australia, a Navy diver who can basically sneak up underwater. And that's pretty handy, because not all missions take place here in Central Europe. Some are set on the Pacific Theatre of War, on tropical jungle coasts. For example, by the way, I already mentioned Whiskey, our bull terrier. He distracts the German dog lovers and can also carry items from one commando to another. And then there's the Thief, you've already met him. For example, he can crawl under here, which the others can't do, under this barrier to the other side. However, we were warned in the mission briefing that there might be mines here. Our sapper could find the mines. He also has a mine detector in his inventory, but first you have to get past this wire barrier to search for mines on the other side. How do you do that? Should we let him crawl underneath and possibly into his doom? No, we'll do it differently. We'll use another special ability he has. He can actually climb up walls as a facade climber and climb into windows. And he can also climb up telephone poles, hold down the shift key, left click on the telephone pole, and he'll climb up to the right. Now, for the first time, the stamina bar comes into play. It gradually empties, and if it's completely empty, he falls to the ground and gets hurt. That wouldn't be a huge tragedy, because we can always find first aid kits somewhere on every map and use them to restore hit points, but it's more elegant to avoid it. We send him over to the other side with a left click, then have him click down to the ground there with a second left click. And then let's go take a look. We were also told in the mission briefing that there might be something up here in this box. Something that could really help us move forward. Let's let him go the last few meters. Oh, we can't see him anymore. What do we do now? Hold down the Alt key and left click, and you can click through the whole map in 90-degree steps. Now we also have a better view of the world. Let's crawl over here to the left again and see what's inside. We hold down the W key, click on it, and see what's in here. We can't find it, it's locked. Good thing we brought a thief along. He can use lockpicks, which you can see on the right side. That's the S key or this button. Hold it down and then click on this chest. We'll get it, we'll open it up and take a look at what's inside. This is the inventory that pops up now, and among other things, we find grenades in here. You might already have an idea of what could happen next. He takes those with him, and we find this here, a bolt cutter. That could also be very helpful for cutting the wire we have over there. Box emptied, everything's ready, out of the inventory and back to the other side. Now it's time to climb back to the other side, so the comrade, the engineer, can finish the rest of the job here. Speaking of climbing. The individual missions of the campaign are connected to each other, tied together by a simple story that links the missions. And the whole thing is actually very realistic when it comes to weapons, vehicles, and so on. These are the kinds of war materials that were actually used in World War II, but don't expect the story being told to be a realistic story. Of course, World War II was primarily about armies fighting each other and about strategy, less about tactics. But at one point the story might actually be truly realistic. It draws on the movies we know about World War II, where in the big Hollywood movies, the black and white films from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even some from recent years, elite squads are sent behind enemy lines for heroic commando missions. Maybe, that's what I think. With this game, it's more of a tribute to the performances of the actors in those movies than actually reenacting a piece of war history. Maybe it's more about cultural and film history. Our engineer is now on the move with his vacuum, or more precisely, with his mine detector. He's the only one who can operate it. And he can also defuse the mines he finds. I'll have him search again. He's the only one who can do that too. I selected the mine detector on the right from his available commands here. And for defusing mines, again, a simple left click is enough. Remember, he's the only one who can do all these things. So we really should let him explore and uncover everything very carefully and in very small steps on the screen. There don't seem to be any more here. We'll change the perspective again and left click to rotate 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, and now we'll do the following. We want to take out the officers and the guard here on the left and throw in a grenade. We've got those with our thief from the other side up here from the box. He has now handed them over to the engineer. He can't throw them himself. We'll just have him lie down on the ground for now. Better safe than sorry, because I'm going to check the field of view display again. This guard here will definitely rush over as soon as we throw the grenade in here. Let's grab our mine and grenade specialist again and equip him with a grenade instead of the mine detector. And now we'll have him throw it in a high arc from a great distance right into the middle, up into that watchtower where 4 people are standing. And lie down quickly. Get down on the ground fast. The guard that's coming now has a red field of vision, and a yellow question mark is dancing above her head. And if she saw us now, she would start shooting immediately, and that would end badly. Yeah, and he's the only one left. He's running back over to his tower now, and we can finish the rest of the mission by taking him out too. We could sneak along the edge, just like we've done so far, but I'd like to show you again how to use a handgun. But first, just to be safe, let's take another look at the mission log. Did we really do everything? No, there's still a secondary objective we should complete. There's a wooden crate here that we could open as well. We can proceed to the next mission without completing the secondary objectives. But unlocking bonus missions, getting extra rewards, all those nice things, you should complete the secondary objectives for that. Hold down the W key, take a quick look. And here are those first aid kits I mentioned earlier. They help us out in case of emergencies. Now let's run over to the other side and get really close to the edge. So that you really have a good view of things, I'll turn the map again or move it as well. Hold down the Alt key on the left, then you can move the map back and forth. Go a little further down, then grab one of our firearms. There are several to choose from. I'll take the pistol here and just hold the pistol with its crosshair over the enemy. Attention! If the first shot isn't lethal, we might have to click again. Each click is a shot. The first one didn't hit, the second, the third, now we've got it and... Mission accomplished. We've completed it and are ready for the next one. With a mighty firefight with 9 heroes in the next mission, you can find Commandos 2 High Definition Remaster in my playlist on YouTube. There's the symbol and next to it the button for the Calypso shop. There you can buy this game, also Praetorian's High Definition Remaster, and all other Calypso titles at the moment with an extra 20% discount if you use my coupon code, which you can find in the text description of this video on YouTube along with the link. However, you can also just click directly on the button. Sunday, January 26th, starting at 3 post Meridium, I will continue this game from this point and show you the next mission during a live stream on Twitch. Recordings are available through this YouTube playlist, and now have fun playing Commandos to yourself soon.